All right, ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over, and I can't wait to see what happens in One Piece. Kohagen, I see you, and anyone else who happens to drop by, I can't wait to see you guys as well. So it's time to get started with the brand newest chapter. Let's begin. Yo, peoples! Qushu 92 here. I am so happy to bring you One Piece today. Now, real quick, just to give you guys a little bit of an update of what happened to the channel while I was at church, apparently. I received an email saying that my last reaction to the One Piece anime, episode 1160, which features the full-on introduction of Loki, was actually not only taken down, but I also received a strike on my channel because of it. And the reason was it was just the entire video. It literally, matter of fact, let me just pull up the email itself. I ain't gonna pull up the email so you guys can see. But let me just pull up the email itself saying, we received a copyright removal request from your video. Based on applicable copyright law, we removed your video from YouTube. Didn't get a warning, just got it taken down. Content used, One Piece. Content found in, entire video, despite the fact that I spliced it up multiple times in order to adhere to copyright law. And I had the video basically blocked with the One Piece logo, but it got removed by something called Qushu GmbH, which is apparently a German-based copyright third-party thing that's going on. And they basically just looked at my video and said, we don't like that, and then just issued a strike without warning. So yeah, if you guys are wondering where my reaction to 1160 is at, you know, me ranting and raving because Loki got introduced, that's gone. Luckily, I make backups of my videos, and I sent them a message to ask them what was it that caused this to happen. Because if you think the entire video isn't showing in the whole reaction. So, you know, having a strike is annoying. Thankfully, it doesn't do anything to my channel where I can't continue to do things that I normally do. But it is making me think whether or not I should continue reacting to the One Piece anime on this channel. I have an idea that could possibly help me out, which is I feel like part of it is my fault because I got too comfortable brightening up the video itself rather than having it see through like I used to, and also bringing up the sound a little bit more. I believe that put me a little bit closer in the crosshairs a little bit. So I'm probably just gonna have to go back to where I just made it slightly faded and had the volume down low, and then continue that way with also blocking it with the One Piece logo in front of the video. So it's probably more than likely what I'm gonna have to go back to. So I feel like it's partly my fault because of that. What's going on, Flipdo? You getting strikes? Yeah, getting that kind of attention? Oh, this will be the second time I've received a strike. Luckily, it is not my second strike within a certain amount of time. The first one happened when I was reacting to the special episodes of Solo Leveling, and it got claimed and taken down despite the fact that I don't show images of what I read. It was basically because I used the logo in the thumbnail. So, yeah. So that's currently what's going on. So it's kind of, yeah, I got a strike because of my reaction to One Piece episode 1160. Yeah. I got the email while I was at church, so I really didn't have any way to look at, and I don't have an option to appeal. It was literally just file a counter notification or get in contact with the people, which is exactly what happened when I reacted to Solo Leveling. I didn't get an option to appeal. It just got taken down. And at least with the beginning after the end, what about it triggered it? It says the entire video. Even though the volume was turned down low enough where it couldn't be detected by copyright, I didn't monetize it. And the video itself, while slightly brightened up, still had the logo in front of it, blocking the majority of the video. And I don't have any parts where it just shows the video itself. It was just still, you know, blocked by the logo itself. It didn't choose a whole section. It says the entire video, my entire reaction, despite me chopping it up in pieces where it literally jump cuts to different sections where I'm talking over it. Yeah, they just basically said that the whole thing is a copyright violation. So, that's fun. Now people are going to look at my playlist and wonder, why is that video removed? So, that kind of was like a little bit of a, that's why I don't do anime reactions anymore. And granted, I used to do way less than you. That literally sounds like a bot reaction. I feel like and the thing is, it doesn't say that it was manually looked at. It doesn't say that it was manually reviewed. Like, I'm looking at the details. But I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna dwell on it too long. Yeah, it doesn't say that it was actually manually reviewed. It just says it looks like it was automated, which is such a nice thing to hear when you're trusting AI so much. But now is not the time for me to talk about this because I kind of been talking about this for 6 minutes? My apologies, everyone. You are not here to hear me gripe about a copyright strike because that is not gonna stop me from doing what I do here. Let's see what happens in chapter 1182 of One Piece called Zaza? Chapter 1182, Zaza. Who the heck is Zaza? Reader request, Isho savoring a bowl of udon painstakingly crafted by a fox and tanuki by Toshikazu. And Fujitora is just enjoying a very hot bowl of noodles because he's sweating. He's just sweating all over while he's eating this. Last time we saw an admiral eating noodles, it was Kizaru when he was on his way to Egghead. But yeah, chapter 1182, Zaza. In the last chapter, we had Emu basically show up and just started bodying everybody. Proceeded to body Stanzen, cut his leg off, and then also proceeded to cut off Gerd's fingertips, like her finger and her thumbs, just to free Summers. Blesses Summers with an omen ring that basically fully heals him and then gives him the ability to fly, frees Killingham, frees Gunko, and then proceeds to confront Loki. Loki fights him. Emu shows way more powers, such as being able to enlarge in himself and stabbing Loki straight through the shoulder with a move called Blade of Judgment Nemesis. Loki slams him away while Emu's distracted by his own thoughts, and then goes into his Needhogger form to assault him even further. So now let's see what happens as we continue, where it shows Loki after using Thorheim directly on him. He goes, his presence is still there. And mind you, Loki is still kind of wheezing because he did get stabbed through the shoulder. And he's also still a little bit tired from, Emu showing up the first time and trying to Domi Reversi both him and Luffy. It's hard to keep him in sight when I'm so huge. And it shows Ragnir right on top of him. And then it shows Emu after using Omen, basically using Omen to shield himself. He goes, let me put this up here so you can hear my Emu voice. Needhogger, to think I would see thee again in this world. Traitor. Traitor? Huh? Traitor? And Emu starts coughing even more. Just starts coughing even more. Because Emu's also bleeding from the eye now. But smiling too. Gave myself the hiccups. Great. Snow. Ah, indeed. And while it starts snowing right behind Loki because the snow starts falling as he's flying towards Emu. Lightning caused by an impact with ice. Thy affinity for one another was always great. Ragnir. So thou stayed as thou were in days past, waiting for a new master to come along. How familiar thy sight is. Hammer, Ragnir. And we have Ragnir just squealing and squeaking at him. Hammer, Ragnir, Squirrel fruit, mythical type, model Ice Squirrel Ratatosker. Now we know what he is. So it really is a hammer that became a squirrel. It really is a hammer that became a squirrel. This is literally one of those moments where an inanimate object is imbued with a devil fruit. Squirrel fruit, mythical type. Model Ice Squirrel Ratatosker. Called it, and then Ragnir just blows ice directly in front of him. Okay, let's go. And when that happens, Ragnir blows like this big frozen mist in front of him, and then Loki charges up another Thorheim and blasts into the frozen mist, and it turns the blast into shrapnel rounds. Ragnar Quintaro! And it basically turns Thorheim into literally machine gun rounds through this mist. Gazing Eclipse. And Emu takes the ring that is normally behind his back and puts it above him. And then causes Omen, like the chain chomps, the bob-ombs. It comes out of it and it flies in direction of the Ragnar Quint arrow and takes all the hits, while some of them go flying towards Loki and he gets clipped in the wing by one. But Loki is just staring down Emu as a giant cascade of it's like napalm, just a giant cascade of explosions flies across the trees straight to where Emu is. And Bonnie is watching.
Yikes! Scary!
Bonnie, come back this way.
Because Bonnie's with Lilith.
Don't worry, I'm not going to try to fight that.
Of course not. I'm your guardian now. I'd never let you do such a thing. But who is that? He's clearly the superior of the Holy Knights of God, but he's not one of the 5 elders. In a massive organization lasting 800 years, it's only natural that power struggles will breed deeper and deeper darkness. Breed deeper and deeper darkness. And mind you, this is almost as if Vegapunk himself is saying this through Lilith. Which would mean,
Hey, Sanji! You're too hurt to...
And then Sanji gets up, heavily bleeding after getting kicked away by Emu earlier on. There's no other choice for me, Bonnie. And then we have Killingham, who's got back up and stood over Sanji. How's that, Sanji? I didn't even need to take you out myself. Though it's incredible you're even alive right now. Where are you going? Back to my mission. Can't you see my rippling strength? So long, sucker! And then proceeds to jump away from Sanji as if jumping off of his body as a footpad. That is so like a bounce pad. That is so disrespectful. Killingham needs to die. That is so disrespectful. But jumps off of Sanji and hurts him even further. He still hasn't given up on kidnapping those children. And then Sanji starts skywalking directly over to him.
Sanji!
I can't let all of our battles be for nothing. This is the land that Usopp and Luffy have been dreaming about. I'm going to keep Elbaf safe.
Huh?
It's the land of giant, beautiful women! And they're both just staring at Sanji like, okay. The Owl Library. Oh, the Owl Library. So, around the back, there's a hidden tunnel ending in a secret room. Biblo! Biblo went to a hidden room in the back, and he took all the books there! So around the back, there's a hidden tunnel ending in a secret room. And you managed to protect all the books from the fire. Well done, Biblo. And then Biblo's just looking, ain't saying nothing. And then we have Robin, who's also happy.
Thank you. I thought they were all lost.
Yeah, I'm mighty glad too. And if I gotta admit it, I'm even more perplexed about you than before, Biblo. And then Biblo ain't saying nothing. He ain't saying jack. But we get back to Sea Cloud Port by Western Village. And here we go. And Summers apparently took an entire ship because he's been strengthened by the Omen, got a brand new ship, and brought it right back over to the port again. Hey, hello? This is Summers speaking. Did I say Summers? I meant Super Summers. I found a giant ship to use. Bring the brats over here in 5 minutes. Pub, Western Village, and we're popping over to a new location. Look at the forest! It's like a war scene. And Chopper has already tended to Gerd.
The cut through your fingers was incredibly sharp and clean, so they should reattach. But it'll take months for a full recovery.
Oh, let's go, Chopper! This man said the cut was so clean and sharp that it's possible for Gerd's fingers to fully heal back to normal again.
Thank you, Chopper. I feel so inadequate. I'm supposed to be the one who heals everyone else.
There was nothing you could do about that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dr. Chopper, for helping my mom and everyone else.
Oh, Chopper done healed up so many of the other giants. Mind you, Harudin is still down for the count because he got hit by a giant Omen Blast.
It's only emergency care. Once we're through this disaster, I can give them proper treatment.
Oh, ultra rare Gerd. My precious has chopped fingers. Am I dreaming? Is this official? I would give you all my fingers. I would give you all of my fingers if I could. Don't. Harsh! I'm unworthy of the gift of your sharp tongue.
Rodo is weird. This is already it goes without saying that Rodo is very weird. Let me see what people are saying in chat. Stop being difficult, YouTube. You done already gave me a strike. At least let me have this. Stop being difficult.
Harsh! I'm unworthy of the gift of your sharp tongue. But when I saw how you risk your life for your brother Bjorn, it did make me think a bit better of you.
Oh! And Rodo just falls backwards. It just starts bleeding out of the nose, and his little brother goes,
Rodo squirts blood when he gets excited.
oh, wait, never mind. Someone goes, no, I think that's Chopper, going,
Rodo squirts blood when he gets excited.
I have an excess of ultra rare Gerd.
and now his little brother goes,
There goes her respect.
Team Zorro, port side of Western Village. And we got Zorro who's there with Goldberg. Hamburg is a king, sorry. I appreciate it, Goldberg. Our legs can't carry us as fast. It's fine. I'm the only one on the new giant pirate who didn't get horribly wounded. Plus, Elbafs and Pearl, I appreciate you helping us out. No worries. Our captain's a friend's country is my country kind of guy. I can see why Harudin thinks so highly of him. That black flame, though, it was transforming into steel bullets and bombs, and he clearly helped the Knights of God who were already here power up further. If we don't put an end to them soon, things will get out of hand. And so when Emu hit Zorro with Omen, he actually shot him. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm using Omen and then you get blasted by the blast. I was under the impression that the Omen blast was literally just like a concussive fiery blast. But no, the Omen that Emu shot at Zorro was literally small enough to be bullets, literal bullets that he took out of his shoulder because he's just holding them in his hand. Emu shot Zorro! If we don't put an end to them soon, things will get out of hand. Port, Western Village, and we have Killingham.
Sormers, I messed up. I summoned the wrong thing.
Killingham? You didn't.
Yes, what I'm afraid of. I got overzealous.
You idiot! Now you're gonna be freaking us out. But you can't control it, right?
Yes, he's still asleep, so I think so.
Well, what's done is done. Just hurry, we don't have time. What about Kunko?
I saw her on the way here, but she's gotta be dead, man.
What? So be it. Great Emu's body is not meant to withstand the outside. But even pushing past that, the strength we need and the strength we ought to destroy are both right here. Do not disappoint the Great One. We must live up to his expectations, Killingham.
Of course.
Western Village. And it's raining.
Rain? It's a downpour out of nowhere. What does this mean? It's flooding indoors. Don't let the wounded get soaked. Go capture those brats.
And all of a sudden, a watery hand just comes in and grabs all the kids.
Ah! Colin! Ylva! Help us!
There's something outside.
And we get Killingham going,
We were born in a place so high it's above all the rain clouds. Water coming down from the sky. It's a mysterious terror. After the people of the D and Nika.
huh? After the people of the Dianika. I'm sorry, what?
After the people of the D and Nika, he was the most common boogeyman they warned us about. That in the lower world, there's a monster called the Rain God that dumps water on top of your heads.
So it's not, they didn't just scare their kids with the D and Nika, but also the Rain God?
Appearing to the rhythm of the prayers for rain. Oh, it's Zaza! Freaky!
And it shows like this giant multi-armed woman created out of water. Grabbing the kids and flooding the Western Village.
Help! Help us!
The children!
What we're afraid of. God of Rain, Zaza, Sleepdid.
Now take him away. Get ready, Summers.
We can sail at any time.
And then we get Zoro, who's looking back, witnessing Zaza. You know, God of Rain, Zaza.
Uh-oh, something's going on at the village.
Should I turn around?
And then we get Sanji, who's already airborne, and he sees Zoro. Yeah, he sees Zoro on Goldberg with Zoro going,
Oh, nah. Huh? Hey, get the job done right. Same to you.
And Sanji, they both shout this at each other. While Zoro's heading in the direction of where Emu went, Sanji's heading in the direction where Killingham and Summers went. And the chapter ends right there. God of Rain, Zaza. And this isn't like unlike the many sleeptids that we've seen before. It isn't just like images that the children have made up in their heads. This is a very highly detailed appearance of the God of Rain. Wow. Interesting. Can I see what people are saying? Or do I need to switch to another thing? This is annoying. Let me just see what everyone is saying on my own video. How come every single time I try to bring it up? There we go. That's Okay, now I can see everything that you said. Larry sounds sucks, but yeah, oh, it just joined Zaza and not the basketball player. It's an onomatopoeia. It's an onomatopoeia, by the way. Like basically, Zaza is the sound of rain dropping. I had a feeling that Zaza, 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 Zaza. I felt like that's what it was. That can't be what I'm thinking it is, but I ain't gonna say it in chat because YouTube may act up. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. What if Qushu got a voice gig for One Piece for an English One Piece character? It would be cool. If only it was that simple, but it's all good. Let's see. Confirmation, it is a devil fruit. Yeah, for Ragnir, yeah. If only it was as simple. It's not quite that. Oh, thank God it wasn't a one-shot, but it did heavy damage. I'm sorry, but Somers needs to die more, though. They both need to. Killingham is so annoying to me. Racist to Fishman when he is one himself. Yeah. He's literally like half Fishman. He's literally half fish man, the same way Dellinger is. Like, he's half fighting fish. We don't know what half Killingham is because he has sharp teeth that is trademarked for people who are half fishmen. But for him to be racist to literally half of his own kind, crazy what being a celestial dragon will do to your morality and mindset. I don't think Killingham is a fish man, though. Ozzy, it's good to see you, my friend. But yeah, Killingham needs to go. He needs to be bodied the same way Who's Who was. Who's Who was. The moment he brought up, like, I can't believe a fish man like you would be fighting. And then he got bodied by Jinbei. Killingham needs to be bodied completely. To the point where he does not come back at all. He'd be something if he was, though. Chopper stocks her up. W for Chopper. Chopper was trained by the best after all. Yeah! Roto is even more simp than Sanji. A way to talk yourself out of the... to keep it G-rated. Okay. Okay, Ozzy. Killingham can make water stuff, too. His fruit really is so broken. I mean, that's the thing, though. I wonder if this... Because that's actually kind of crazy when you think about it. His interpretation of Zaza is literally a ginormous multi-armed woman that actually produces water. Now, if this is along the same lines as basically creating water that can nullify devil fruit powers and as if they're in the seawater itself, then Killingham's devil fruit power is kind of broken when you think about it. Because all he would have to do is just create a sleep did of Zaza and then completely submerge the area he's fighting in water, and that will literally impair devil fruit users if it has that capability. I don't want to give him too much credit because I think he's a jerk. But if it's possible, that's kind of busted. Because it's not just kids that he can make up, powerful sleep dits from. He basically can create one from the collective mindset of anyone. So if it's an adult that has an apt description of said thing that they fear, he can essentially create that for himself. This is like the first Hokage's thousand-arm veritable thousand-arm cannon statue that he was using against Madara. It's basically he can create his own personal water stand. He can basically create his own stand. When you think about it, that is also autonomous. Can't help but keep telling people this. This is just a sleep did. This is Killingham's interpretation and in no way reflects Zaza's true look. All we know is that this is what their name is. So we know the sun god and rain god. I'm curious if there is a rain god fruit too. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that were mentioned in this particular chapter that we're going to go over as soon as I go over the summary. But let me catch up to everything that you could have been saying. Like I said before, Luffy won't make his heroic entry until chapter 1185. Zaza should be Nami's devil fruit, but it could be dragons. We don't know what the actual Zaza looks like, though, but we still know that the two of the gods' names now. So we got the sun god, Nika, and now we have the rain god, Zaza. So that's another name that the celestial dragons tell their kids in order to scare them. Not just to fear those with D in their name, not only to fear Nika, but also be scared of Zaza. So that just leaves me with more questions. It's not just Nika that they tell their kids to be scared of. It's also Zaza. Because the celestial dragons they quite literally live above the rain clouds. They live above the clouds. So them having rain, they don't get it. Now that's actually a good point. They live above the clouds, so they don't actually get rain. They don't wow, that's something I never really thought of. Since they're above the clouds, they don't ever get rain. So they just tell stories about, like, if you go into the lower world, actually, let me go back to it. There's a monster called the rain god that dumps water on top of your heads. Yeah. We were born in a place so high it's above all the rain clouds. Water coming down from the sky, it's a mysterious terror. After the people of the D and Nika, it was the most common boogeyman they warned us about. That in the lower world, there's a monster called the rain god that dumps water on top of your head. Literally, the act of rain is an act of Zaza. Just rain itself. Because no celestial dragon knows anything about rain at all. Let's see. And we're on break, and I'm not mistaken. Next week is Golden Week. I thought last week was Golden Week, and that's the reason why we went on break. Are we having another one? Or did I misinterpret that entirely? We don't know let me see. I was thinking it was the man marked by flames or whoever operates that black ship and creates whirlpools. We all know that the man marked by flames is literally Jack Sparrow. Marked by flames is literally the pirate mark he has burnt into his skin, because that counts as a mark by flames, because it takes flames to heat up that piece of metal in order to, just burned into his flesh. And also, recently, Oda created entire art of, Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow in the One Piece art style. And Johnny Depp actually has, like, that big rug that has it, like that big poster with his One Piece version of Jack Sparrow. So it'd be funny if the character does look like Jack Sparrow, though. But we all know it's Jack Sparrow. We all know it's the Black Pearl. We all know it's the Black Pearl. We all know Jack's got the sword of Poseidon that Blackbeard was using so he can direct his ships and also create whirlpools. We know it's Jack. We know it's Jack. I was right from the last stream in the beginning about Emu seeing not the dragon, but it was the squirrel. He was surprised. But he said Needhogger, though. When he was looking at Loki, he literally said Needhogger. He didn't say Ratatoskr. He didn't say Ragnir. He said Needhogger. So does that mean a Golden Week was last week? We're still on break next week, though. Yeah, we came from a break and now we're going on to another one, which is fine. This is fine for me. Does that mean it's Killingham's Nightmare, that Zaza creator? Okay, I stand corrected. So as a rain fruit, I think it's Killingham and Somers' fear, because at least we know it's Killingham's fear, but it's implied Somers is scared of Zaza too, since he said you're going to be freaking us out too. Yeah, because Killingham creating the Sleeptid is basically, well, actually when he says, like, you idiot, now you're going to be freaking us out, but you can still control it, right? Yes, it's still a Sleeptid, so I think so. What you mean you think so? Hold up, what you mean? And also, Killingham wasn't even trying to summon this thing in the first place. He said he summoned the wrong thing. So him summoning Zaza, he wasn't even trying to do in the first place. This is going to be crazy if the Sleeptid he created is basically almost like the One Piece version of Maharaga, and there's been no one to fully control this summon from someone to be able to control Zaza at all. Is this the Maharaga of the Celestial Dragons and they can't control it at all? I'm just making a joke here. Let me see. Could Dragon have it? Yeah, let's see. Both Nika and Zaza are Japanese onomatopoeia for heavy smiling and heavy rain pour, respectively. Gotta love those little tidbits. Thank you. Let's see. Oda did draw Jack Sparrow a few months ago. Yeah, I say recently, but it actually was months ago when it happened. This was before the One Piece Netflix show came back with season 2. It was before then. I remember that. Johnny, I have to go back and see if he has that burn mark on that post. Also, he called Needhogg a traitor, which is interesting. I don't think he was referring. Oh, no, wait, he was. To think that I would see thee again in this world, traitor. So it makes me wonder, did Emu know someone that had the Needhogger fruit beforehand? Did he know someone that had the Needhogger fruit beforehand and that person died and then it got into the hands of the giants, but no giant was able to use it? Not even ancient giants until Loki? So it makes me wonder, did someone Emu knew? Because the way I see it, Emu saying it's a traitor, that Needhogger is a traitor because Needhogger is fighting against Emu. What if it was Joy Boy who had it? What if it was Joy Boy, the previous user of the Hito Hito no Mi, that also had the need Hogger fruit? Even though the only person to use 2 devil fruits was Blackbeard? So you're saying, what if Joy Boy had 2 devil fruits? Even though the only person in history we know of to use 2 devil fruits is Blackbeard. You're saying yes? Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I was thinking more like how Madara broke free of Edo Tensei, and then we're just having his name spread out to this day. Are you talking about Nika? Bro, what you talking about? I have a question. How did the fan knew Loki's hair was pink, purplish before the anime came out? Assumption. Good guessing. I personally think it was a warrior god who fought with Nika back in the day. It was because it talked about it in the chapter when Jarl was talking about Ratatosker. This is also something that Flipdo brought up, is bringing up right now. The process of Ratatosker getting into the fruit itself. It's just like matter of fact, let me see if I could find that chapter. It was chapter 1175. Thank you, Flipdo. We'll get to the summary here in a moment. But the description of how the hammer got imbued with that fruit itself is right here on pages 12 and 13. In Elbaf, we have a legend about a warrior god. He wielded a weapon known as Ragnir, Iron Lightning, and turned into an enormous dragon to face off against the sun god. So, I mean, the warrior god had the fruit. Not Nika. The warrior god had it, because Nika was actually fighting him. He fought alongside a trusted, loyal ice squirrel known as Ratatosker. In other words, without its master, Ratatosker chose to inhabit his weapon instead. And waits for its owners to return. So the thing is, the Ratatosker itself chose to inhabit the hammer. It chose to inhabit the hammer, and the depiction is like the fruit itself was already like a living thing, like a living squirrel already, that then chose to inhabit the hammer, which is a process we've never heard of before. We still don't even know the process of how inanimate objects get imbued with devil fruits in the first place. We still don't know that. So the fact that the hammer itself, just the regular big old giant hammer, was imbued with that power because the fruit itself chose to inhabit the weapon. That description is very apt right there. And it makes me wonder about the process of it. Because then we'll learn about how Funkfried got imbued into a sword, how Cerberus got into Shamrock Sword, how Lasso became like basically a Dash Hound bazooka. All these different devil fruits that are imbued in inanimate objects. There's so many questions about it because it's actually way more complicated when you think about it. It's not just simply like, how does one imbue it? Now we're having a different method of how they're being imbued and how it's described, as if the fruit itself chose to inhabit the inside of this weapon. Like, how does it do that? Which leaves me with so many questions, even more than before. But let's get back to the main chapter real quick. Let's get back here. Let's see. And knowledge, which fight are you most excited for? What do you mean? Like, I mean, we're currently witnessing fights already. We're currently witnessing fights right now, so if you're asking what fights in the future I'm looking forward to, I mean, it's a bit of an assumption. Hold on. It's a bit of an assumption as to whether we're going to get even more bigger fights after this, even though, you know, Zoro making his way towards Imu and Sanji making his way towards Killingham. I feel like, if anything, I'm looking forward to Killingham being subdued, but I'm also looking forward to Zoro trying to square up against Imu again, if he gets the chance. It's hinted that Joy Boy had the Nika fruit, Something tells me it was Davy Jones, which is why the Davy D clan is hated so much by Emu. I mean, I don't think it's much of a hint that Joy Boy had the Nika fruit. I mean, it's been heavily alluded to the entire time. It's not just that it got imbued with the fruit, it got imbued with Ratatoskr itself. I'm starting to think that Ratatoskr's decision created the devil fruit. Because now you gotta also think about, like, Vegapunk's hypothesis of how devil fruits are created. Which means that there could actually be a little bit more validity to it than we possibly could have imagined. Because if Ratatoskr felt that I need to be within this fruit, I need to be within this hammer, could it have turned into a devil fruit after and imbuing the hammer itself with itself? Like it's... Oh, future fight. Zoro versus Mihawk or Dragon versus World Government. I don't think that far ahead. Because it's like... It's like saying, like, which fight are you looking forward to? Luffy versus Blackbeard in the future? I feel like there's way more important stuff going on than trying to guess, like, who's gonna fight who into the future. So I can't really give you an answer there, because it's just like, it's an eventuality, but it's not important to... It's not really that important to kind of, think on at this time. That's just me, though. I don't think that far ahead. Like, I think of ahead while we're in the arc, but it's not like stuff that's so far off into the future that it's like, oh, I can't wait to see Zoro versus Mihawk. And it's all like, that sort of thing will have its time. But now is not the time for me to be concerned about that. Let's see. Yeah, corrected, alluded, typo on my part. You're fine. But I won't say, but the thing is, it's pretty much a certainty that Joy Boy had the Nika fruit, which is why everyone in the world government wants that fruit to be subdued, because Nika was the one that fought against do you realize how strong Joy Boy had to be for 20 whole kingdoms to try and roll up on you to join together? I need to see what Vegapunk said, but I really wonder if this gives us such a big window into where devil fruits come from. Okay, so real quick. Let me see if I can find that chapter where Vegapunk talk about it. Chapter... Which chapter is this? Ready, you can tell me everything I want to know about One Piece, but you won't even give me the actual... you won't even give me, like, the actual chapter itself? Give it to me! Where did it say this in this chapter? Chapter 1069. Chapter 1069. We'll look at 1069 real quick. Yeah, volume 106. Was it 1069? Hold on. Okay, so right here, pages 10 and 11 on chapter 1069. Vegapunk says, every devil fruit is a possibility. Wait, hold on, let's see. All things are brought into this world with hope. Yes, even the devil fruits. Every devil fruit is a possibility for human evolution that someone desired. If only I could be like this. If only I could be like this. If only I could be like that. All of those powers represent the many branches of the future of humanity. But that unnatural status is lulled by the sea, the mother of nature, a fitting punishment for its sin. Those with powers exist in different dimensions, dreamed up by someone else before them. This is my only theory. So you see, you don't even need to debate whether any god exists or not. Isn't it just such a fascinating world? And this is when Luffy and Lucci were fighting against each other. So it's like a possibility for human evolution that someone desired. That is the theory at this time. So, while we are at it, let me scroll down. Let's see. While Joy Boy had the Nika fruit, I believe there was an actual Nika way before Joy Boy existed, so pre-Void Century. So I think all these gods actually existed and then just ended up becoming fruits. Question: how old are the Holy Knights? I had a thought. What if Killingham accidentally summoned Joy Boy or something? The Holy Knights are old. They're old. They're also immortal, so it makes their actual ages pretty much impossible to nail down. Since they were given covenants, they have undying bodies. So we do know what we do know is people like Shamrock, he's pretty much around the same age as Shanks. So they're that age, but for people like Gunko, she's been around since before Shamrock. And then the elders, they've been around for God knows how long. So anyone who's been blessed by a covenant, their age is impossible to ascertain. And that goes for the rest of the Holy Knights as well. Sure, they look young when we see them, but we also see like what is her name? Manfei or Manfei? The Manfei family? No, where's that? Manfei Gunko? It's the tall woman. It's the tall woman with the Doflamingo looking smile. She's been around since the God Valley incident as well, and she already had a covenant after getting, basically cut in half by Whitebeard when Whitebeard and Big Mom were making their way onto the island, and they were arguing with each other. So it's really difficult to nail down how old every Holy Knight is, other than Shamrock. So it's basically very difficult to find out how old they are. Because Summers had the same look on his face, the same exact appearance since the God Valley incident. Let's see. Okay, so it's odd to me that there's only one fish fruit, but 700 dragon fruits, for example. So, like, maybe the fruits are made from creatures that decided they needed to inhabit something. Yeah, whenever you see dragon fruits, it's usually dinosaurs, with Killingham being the exception since he's a Killing. And also with not just Killingham, but also with Loki as well. Loki is pretty much the only person that is the only wielder of a dragon fruit that is an actual dragon. He's literally a giant dragon, like in the truest sense of the word. I got so many questions about devil fruits. Like, look, if we learn the origins of devil fruits, I feel like it's just going to turn up our entire view of them as a whole. And I cannot wait for that eventual day of learning what a devil fruit is truly and where they originated and why they are the way they are. And if Vegapunk was on the money with his description, with his theory. So, now that I've been talking for such a long time for us to do our summary. Wow, I put way too many numbers on that one. Okay, chapter 1172. Since I'm not looking at the manga page, I can look at chat right here off to the side and answer your little questions on the side as well. So, long summary. Loki says he can still feel Emu's presence after blasting him, and that it is difficult to keep him in sight when he becomes so big. Emu, meanwhile, says he never expected to see Needhogger again, labeling him a traitor before he coughs violently. Like, at this time, Emu is coughing like Patrick when he was inside Sandy's, Sandy's dome for the first time. Like, he's like hacking and he's like hacking and coughing. So I feel like while he's powerful in this state, it has a limitation. It has a definite limitation if he's coughing this hard. I feel like the more he uses his powers while he's in this state, it's actually doing more harm to him. It begins to snow, and Emu calls it expected as Needhogger's affinity with Ragnir, which is confirmed to be a devil fruit user with the power of the Risurisunomi, model Ratatosker, was always high, even in the past. He also muses how Ragnir looked the same as it waited for a new master to serve. But Ragnir becomes enraged by Emu, and it, along with Loki, unleash a simultaneous attack called Ragna Go Arrow, or Ragna Quint Arrow in the English, firing a blast of lightning and snow at Emu. However, Emu counters with a move of his own called Zitsimiddle? This is not a Japanese word. This is a new word, and where does the origin of this word come from? Zitsimiddle. Tzitzimitl. Zitsimiddle. That's not Japanese. Where does that come from? It kind of reminds me of like Mayan when you think of like Quetzalcoatl with that sort of spelling. But Zitsimiddle, move of his own called Zitzi, Aztec deity. Thank you, Kohagen. I knew it had something that was kind of close to like Mayan in nature. Called Zitsimiddle, unleashing a barrage of black fireballs that sets the forest below him ablaze. So thank you for setting more of the forest on fire that everyone is already trying to put out. Bonnie watches the fight from afar and calls it scary just as Lilith tells her to come back over to her. Bonnie does so and assures Lilith she will not join the fight, and even if she wanted to, Lilith would forbid her because she is her guardian now. Lilith wonders who Imu is, stating that he commands the Knights of God, yet is not one of the 5 elders, so she surmises that with the world government having existed for 8 centuries, power struggles would only lead to the creation of more darkness. Just as she is about to say something, though, Sanji, who she was attending to, gets back up to rejoin the fight, despite Bonnie warning him about his injuries. Sanji says he has no choice, as he recalls when Killingham found him being paralyzed. He told him he was going to finish their mission and resume kidnapping the children, before leaving by using his body as a springboard to launch himself in retaliation to Sanji's earlier victory against him. So I was right, yeah, he basically just used Sanji's body, his injured body, as a bounce pad to jump right back into the air again. Once again, disrespectful. Sanji then takes off into the air and declares he will not let Elbaf, the country that Luffy and Usopp love so much, suffer like this, though he admits it is also the home to beautiful giant women that he enjoys. At the Owl Library, oh, this is another good one. At the Owl Library, Robin and Saul discover a hidden tunnel around the back that leads to a secret room, and it is here that Biblo took all of the books. Robin and Saul express gratitude to Biblo for saving them, while Saul admits he is even more confused by the nature of Biblo's existence than he was before. As am I. Biblo didn't waste any time. He saved every single book in a secret tunnel that no one else knows about. Who is Biblo? Who is Biblo? As for Summers, he uses his enhanced strength from Imu's omen to grab another giant ship to transport the children and demands the giants to bring them to him in 5 minutes. Mind you, empowered with this omen, Summers is strong enough to lift a ship that giants pilot. Just literally lift the whole thing in the air and just chuck it. Like the last time we saw someone with inhuman strength that could lift things that should be impossible for a normal individual was literally Jesus when he picked up a whole mountain and threw it at Law's crew back on Winter Island when Law was fighting Blackbeard. That's the last time. But yeah. At Western Village, Chopper treats Gerd's fingers, saying that because the cut Imu made was so sharp and clean, her fingertips will reattach, but it will take months for her to fully recover. Gerd thanks Chopper but expresses frustration that she cannot help others despite being a doctor herself. Colin thanks Chopper for treating Ripley and everyone else, but he says he merely performed emergency care and once this disaster is over, he can treat everyone properly. Rhodes offers to give Gerd his fingers, but she nonchalantly rejects him, though she admits she came to respect him a bit after seeing him risk his life for his brother, which makes him excited to the point that he gets a nosebleed. Side note, that probably also rescinded that good point about Rhodes in that one moment. Zoro, meanwhile, is getting a ride from Goldberg, who at this point is the only member of the new Giant Warrior Pirates not badly injured, or injured at any point. And he expresses his gratitude to Zoro for his help. Something Zoro chalks up to Luffy's belief that the country of his friend is also his country, thereby solidifying Harudin's immense respect for him. Zoro then says to Goldberg that Imu's powers is nothing that he had seen before, so they need to finish this fight quickly before things truly get out of hand. Killingham contacts Somers and informed him that he messed up because he accidentally created an MMA of what he himself is afraid of, which Somers chews him out for as it will scare him too. Still, you would think that individuals who are basically immortal can regenerate their entire bodies, have incredible strength, and all this power. You would think they wouldn't be scared of something. But these grown men, these grown men are scared of still scared of something that they were told when they were children or told when they were younger. They're scared. Okay. And we're supposed to be intimidated by them? Still, Killingham assures he can control the MMA, but they need to hurry up and finish the mission. Somers asks about Gunko, and Killingham says he saw her on the way over, but thinks she has perished. Though shocked, Somers accepts this and says that Imu's body cannot withstand outside of the Holy Land, but the fact that he is here in person means that the both of them need to make sure they do not disappoint him. Yeah, you know what I think? I feel like Imu probably put a limitation on his own self to remain in Marijois so that he can be at the height of his power, because leaving is akin to like it's like Hancock. You know, the Will Smith superhuman movie? It's like Hancock, where when Will Smith's character, when Hancock met the Charlize Theron, and turns out that they were both like immortal gods that have superpowers, the moment they got close to each other, they actually became weaker. It's probably the opposite for Imu, where the further away he is from Marijois, he actually does get weaker. And the way that Hancock and your girl move away from each other, they basically get stronger, they become immortal and do all this and all that, and they can do whatever they want as long as they stay apart. But it's the opposite for Imu, where he has to stay in Marijois to be at the height of his strength and the height of his power, because the further away he is from Marijois, the weaker he gets, like separating Aquaman from the water. Something like that. It's just a bit of an assumption there, but the fact that he's coughing violently shows you that I want to say that he is physically tied to Marijois to the point where if he leaves, it is actually detrimental to his health. I just thought of, if Jinbei's nearby, he could take advantage of all this rain and water. He could with the Fishman Jiu-Jitsu. Let me see. Cannot withstand outside of the Holy Land, but the fact that he is here in person means that the both of them need to make sure they do not disappoint him. It then begins to rain, and the downpour is severe enough to flood the western village as a large arm made of water grabs the children as per Killingham's orders. According to Killingham, Marijois is situated above the rain cloud, so rain is actually a terrifying thing for the world nobles. Because of that, aside from Nika and the D clan, the only other thing that scares them is the rain god that appears to the rhythm of prayers for rain, known as Zaza, and it is this very thing he personally fears that he created to finish their mission. Zoro sees the chaos at the village, but decides to keep moving forward, so I was good in my assumption that he decided to keep moving forward. At the same time, moving past Sanji, who was heading in the other direction towards the village. Both of them then tell one another to make sure they do their jobs properly as they prepare to battle the Knights of God. So, quick references: Imu continues the battle with Loki and Ragnir. Imu recalls his past, labeling Needhogger as traitor, and muse about his encounter with Ragnir in the past. Loki and Ragnir then unleash Ragna Quintero combined attack which is met with Imu's Zitzi middle, unleashing fire across the forest. Ragnir is confirmed as a devil fruit user possessing the Risu Risu no Mi model Ratatosker. As the battle between Imu and Loki or Ragnir rages on, Lilith tends the injured Sanji as Bonnie watches on. Recalling Killingham's words that he would resume his kidnapping mission, Sanji takes off to return to battle. At the Owl Library, Robin and Saul discover a secret room where Biblo hid all the books. Also, the cleanly sliced finger thing reminds me of Sakamoto days. Yeah, the same way how Gaku got his arm sliced off by old man Takamura, and then it got attached by Kashima, and then he was able to use his arm as if it wasn't cut off in the first place. Clean cuts are crazy. Robin and Saul discover a secret room where Biblo hid all the books. Got so many questions about Biblo. At Western Village, Chopper gave first aid to the giants and reattaches Gerd's fingertips. Using his empowerment, Somers brings in a new giant ship and demands the children back in 5 minutes. During the conversation with Killingham, Somers told that they should hurry and finish the work due to Emu being unable to stay outside of Marijois for long, implying the work of utmost importance. Killingham accidentally created an MMA resembling the rain god Zaza. According to Killingham, because Marijois is located above the rain clouds, rain is one of the things that the world numbers feared, and the rain god is one of the only things that scares him, the other being Nika and the D-Clan. Killingham then orders the Zaza MMA to attack Western Village and kidnap the children, causing torrential rain and flood in the process. Well, if there's one good thing about the rain god currently right now, if there was a fire inside of the village, it's probably putting them all out now. Even though it's flooding the houses, this kind of may help with some of the fires that are around the village in the process. Zoro and Goldberg head off as he crosses paths with Sanji. Having seen the chaos unfolding in Western Village in the distance, Zoro and Sanji entrust each other to battle the Knights of God. So we got Sanji and Zoro fully prepared to fight Killingham and Somers and fully bring them down. Okay, you got a crazy idea? Just reread everything Vegapunk said? Nice. Killingham might have just accidentally buffed Jinbei. I mean, you're looking down on Fishman, you think Fishmen are disgusting, but you literally just gave one of the best weapons a Fishman can use by literally covering the area in water. The Knights of God may be strong, but they're not exactly smart. Somers literally knocking an MMA on the first ship that they tried to use. And now Killingham creating an MMA that uses the very substance that a fishman is capable of using to deadly accuracy. So yeah, they're not exactly smart. All things are brought into this world with hope, even devil fruits. Every devil fruit is a possibility for human evolution that someone else desired. Those with powers exist in different dimensions, dreamed up by someone else before them. I have a feeling that Zoan fruits are born out of the desire of a creature to inhabit something else. For example, dinosaurs are so abundant because of their prior mass extinction. This was their only way to survive. Gods probably had something similar. It's also why they are easier to recreate. Paramecias and Logias work differently, though, which is why their recreation isn't as easy. But here's the thing, though. Logias are actually the more difficult of the ones, because recreating Paramecia, it takes time. But it's not impossible, though. It's not impossible, but it takes a considerable amount of time. That's the reason why the Seraphim all have Paramecia abilities, because out of all of them, Paramecias are quote-unquote the easiest to make, but they take time to do. Logias are pretty much the more difficult to do, simply because they're literal forces of nature. And that's it. But mind you, Vegapunk did say, like, with enough time I could possibly do it, but as it stands right now, they are pretty much impossible to do. But Paramecias are actually, it can be done. It's been done several times. That's the reason why all the Seraphim have all those abilities. But you do bring up a good point. What if every devil fruit we've seen is literally just a desire for someone to be different in some way, and all the Zoans, like Flipdo says, are basically just a desire for these creatures to still exist, even if they've been extinct. I do think Vegapunk's theory is right, but probably only for Paramecias and Logias. They are ideas that people dreamed up, but not Zoans. Because here's the thing. Phoenixes, nine-tailed foxes, giant Yamata no Orochis, they are basically seen as creatures in folklore and myths and legends. So imagine the desire for such things to be made real. And then you have the Tori Tori no Mi model Phoenix. And you have the Ryu Ryu no Mi model Yamata no Orochi. And then you get the Inu Inu no Mi model Nine-tailed Fox. That's what you get. The desire for these quote-unquote fictional creatures based off of folklore and stories created from people from all over, now made manifest, now made real. Ravi, it's good to see you as always. Thank you for being here. Imagine if that's the case. So yeah, that's the chapter of One Piece that we got right now. What we have right now is Zoro and Sanji are preparing to go after Summers and Killingham. Emu is still fighting Loki. Luffy is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, but I think they were. My idea is that these creatures' fruits were created out of their own will to live on. If that, I mean, anything is possible because dinosaurs still exist in One Piece. I mean, Little Garden. So, they still exist, though. They're not extinct. Dinosaurs still exist. They just exist in one place that we've seen thus far. So it would be interesting if a world of One Piece before devil fruits became a thing was literally just a land of myths and legends and the folklore and the stories is literally just based off of these things existing. Literally these things existing and their will to live on created devil fruits so that their will just continued. Funk Freed is the only elephant. I think it was an actual elephant before it lived on into the sword. Maybe. We'll have to see. That's what makes this theory of Vegapunk so intriguing. It's on the tip of my nose. I'm blowing my nose before we start Sakamoto Days. So it would be interesting. I really hope Oda does something with this theory for Vegapunk. I'm talking in this. No, this is coming up. Thank you. I'm gonna say thank you because as soon as you say bless you again, because it's gonna happen again. But I am so intrigued by this theory of Vegapunk and seeing if it pops up again at some point in the future. Something is tickling my nose on the inside. I'm about to sneeze again. I'm getting so tired. I'm trying not to breathe in because it's okay, you know what? It's happening on the right nostril. So, I'm really interested in finding out more. I'm seeing more of Vegapunk's theory in terms of what happens. I really hope that we get some semblance of maybe Vegapunk's theory. Okay, we're good. I really hope we get more of Vegapunk's theory as this arc continues on because I want to know more about devil fruits as a whole. And especially about Emu's fruit called the Devil's Fruit, which is the only one that doesn't have like two of the same words said with each other again. That's what I'm kind of interested in. But with us going on break, this is just going to be something I'll have to think about over the next couple of days. So yeah, overall, good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Now it's time to start with Sakamoto Days. But first things first. Given the fact that I received that strike for for reacting to One Piece, I don't know if it'll feel odd for me to continue reacting. To episode 1161, and then not have 1160 on the channel as a whole. So I'm still thinking about whether I'm going to continue to react to the One Piece anime, or maybe if me changing it back to the way I did originally will keep me in the clear like it used to, because it's still remains to be seen. I have a bit of a rough idea of what actually caused the copyright strike to happen, so maybe I'll do a reaction to it, but I'm just kind of thinking about it, because strikes are annoying, especially if I've been reacting to a series for a considerable amount of time, and it makes me question if I should continue. You just don't do anime anymore, it's too risky. Yeah, it's crazy how copyright is so flimsy, and that people can just straight up, just third parties that you've never heard of just can come out of nowhere and just go like, we don't like your video, let's just strike the entire thing. We speak on behalf of Crunchyroll, even though we have no links to them. How dare they strike you? Yeah, they said it was the entire video, and I don't have an option to appeal to it. So it's annoying, and that means that whole reaction is just gone off of YouTube. I still have the backup, but it's just gone off of YouTube, so it's very annoying. it's annoying. So I'm just wondering if I should continue to react to One Piece as a whole, simply because of this. Because I don't want any more strikes, but at the same time, I do have a good idea of what actually caused it, and I know how to counter it. So I could possibly, you know what? Nah, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably just still gonna react to the anime itself, but probably put up more safeguards than I did before in order to ensure that nothing bad happens. I have a rough idea of how I can get by. Yeah, I got a good idea on how I can continue to react to it. But if anything else were to happen, then that just means that I won't be reacting to anime on the channel anymore, which is, annoying. I would have loved to react to how they do the new sequence of episodes for One Piece. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'll follow through with it and see how things go there and see if my changes actually make it better for me in the long run. So we'll see. If it works out fine, then we're good and I can continue to react to it the same way as just tread lightly. I know. It's moments like these that make me question if I should continue reacting to anime on the channel, because I was going to react to way more anime on the channel, and seeing as how testy they are with this, it's concerning, because this is my only job and I don't want to lose it. So it makes you think about things a little bit. But you guys are not here to hear me gripe about it. I'm just saying, just in case. But yeah, that's all I got. So let's go ahead and move on to Sakamoto Days, because I've been looking forward to this next chapter as well. But I am done with One Piece, and since we're going on break, I get to rest this next upcoming Sunday. So that'll be fun. I get to kick back and relax. And also this week, like I said, Monday and Tuesday, I will be taking those days off from videos and streams because I'm going to be hooking up my entire new PC setup. Gone will be the days of the laptop Qushu, and we walk in to a brand new mini PC that's way more powerful. Well, as your audience, it does concern us, so of course we're here to listen. Don't worry. Well, thank you, Flipdo. I knew you guys would understand. As long as you guys have been watching me, like, over the years, and many of you guys have been here for almost the entire time I've been doing YouTube, I just want to say thank you for your patience. Just in case I need to make some substantial changes in order to ensure the safety, stability, and longevity of my channel as a whole, even if it means I have to stop doing certain things on this channel, even though I kind of don't want to. I believe Sakamoto Days is on next week. I think so as well. So if Sakamoto Days isn't on break, then cool, that's fine. We'll just have Sakamoto Days next week. But yeah, this was a very interesting chapter because I got so many questions. Emu looks like he's coughing up way more than he was before, because he was huffing and puffing when he first got to Elbaf. And then when he transformed into his new form, he's still wheezing and then occasionally coughing. And now, facing Loki in this chapter, he's coughing like crazy, even more than before, and bleeding from the eye. So it means that there's a time limit. There is a time limit to how long he can stay in this form and stay outside of Marijois. So, and with Sommer saying, like, we need to get them here in 5 minutes, we need the kids here in 5 minutes, is that the time limit for Emu? Or is it just 5 minutes and we need to get out of Elbaf completely? A lot of things to consider here. So I'm interested in seeing what happens in the next chapter, in chapter 1183. So to everyone here, thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, hi, how are you? I really hope you enjoyed yourself here. If not, I'll endeavor to do better next time. But to everyone here, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my membership or Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples! On to Sakamoto Days!